Chunk? Is that a
sloth?
Sloth? Yes, goodies. Welcome to the Get Up Girl podcast with your gal, Joanna Vargas. I'm here with my other gal, my unicorn friend, my bestie, Jeaneiva Faith. And she's going to be coming here on the podcast every month. And I'm going to have a big, a pool of girls. And we're going to talk often with the same gals. And we're going to keep having more developed conversations. So welcome back to the show, Jeaneiva.
Thank you so much for having me. I have so much fun chatting with you, and being able to do this, it's always a lot of fun and delights me so much.
Yeah, the cool thing, every time I talk to one of my gals on the show, afterwards when we stop recording, we're always like, oh my God, I feel so good. I feel like I just had a therapy session, kind of that feeling, or a coaching session, or you just had Reiki and you're like, I feel good. I want to go off into my day. So let's create that for ourselves. And I wonder how we can create that for other people. And if you're listening and you can't see Jeaneiva, she has a Goonies shirt on, and one of my favorite movies. I heard that they're remaking it. It's about like their kids now and their Goonies. Anyway, that's, who knows where that is. So if anybody knows, DM me on Instagram where that is in the shooting process. That'd be a great movie. Okay, let's jump in, because Jeaneiva, I want to talk about, what does it mean to have somebody's back? We use that term often, like, I got your back, or nobody has my back. I feel like I'm alone. It's a term of endearment, yet I think there's something deeper there. And I wonder where that term was actually created. Like, have my back, as in, if I fall back, you're going to catch me. So what does that mean to you, have your back?
Having someone's back, to me, that feels like unconditional love. And I know unconditional love is like a huge, broad term, but loving someone through their hardships, loving someone through their good times and bad times. And it sounds so generic, but down to the basics of having your back, like, that's what I feel like it is to me. Like, when someone has my back, they're there when I need them. And it isn't necessarily a big, huge thing. Sometimes you just need someone to have your back because you saw something on someone's Instagram that threw your entire day off, and you just want somebody to tell you that that's okay. Somebody to just really support you through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and somebody whom you're totally comfortable with asking for help. I know a lot of times we don't really ask for help. So when I'm comfortable asking someone for help, that's when I know that person truly has my back.
Asking for help. A couple years ago, that was my big learn. Like, do you ever look back, Jeaneiva, and go, oh, this year, that was the year of this, or that was the theme. Like, each year has a theme of what you kind of got. I think it was about 2018 for me. I got the lesson of, Joanna, you are not asking for help. You think you are. You're complaining and expecting people to just read your mind. They can't read your mind. Ask clearly for help. And I'm not where I'd like to be, but I'm closer. And I need help here, or can you help me here with this? Or I really need you. And then it's up to them to either choose. And I think, Jeaneiva, most people are going to say yes, if you're clear with your ask. I think it's when we're not clear, and then we think, nobody's there for me. Well, because you didn't ask. You just told them you're lonely, but you didn't say, come to my house. I need you. Have my back because I'm lonely. That's different than just saying, I'm lonely, and then the other person doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? So I kind of see it that way. Unconditional love. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. This has been really in my world lately. Like, what is it? This year, my theme on my annual plan is a question, and it's, what is love? So I think of that song, what is love?
Baby,
don't hurt me. And that's been my theme for this year. Like, what is love? What is it really? And what I've got thus far is that love actually can come in the ugly. Love can come in the not so pretty all the time. And I was thought or brainwashed to think that love was always pretty, was always soft, was always the feminine side, was always the yin. It was never the yang. The yang is not love. And my realizations are love is actually totally having somebody's back, front, left, right, and in the ugly, and sometimes being the ugly. So what is it for you?
What is unconditional love, or what is
Yeah.
love?
What is unconditional love?
For me, unconditional love is, like you said, having someone's back, front, side, up, down, all around. Through, yeah,
360.
through it all. Because there are times when, like you said, like we're not just going through the ugly, we are the ugly.
Ooh.
And
That's good. Sorry, keep going. I like
right?
to make my
And to know that someone's gonna love you anyway. They might, they don't need to put up with your shit if you're being a shitty person. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. But like, knowing that like somebody's gonna love you. Like, all right, Jeanieva's being really cranky today, so that's okay. I'm gonna check in on her tomorrow because I cannot hang with her today, but I will check in with her tomorrow, and my love for her does not change at all whatsoever. So that's unconditional love for me. And without getting, too in depth about family dynamics, I have found unconditional love within my friendships, and I'm so grateful that I found it. And maybe I found it later in life. Maybe I should have had it as a child, but that doesn't matter right now because I found it. And it's not from a partner, and maybe eventually it will be. Maybe I will find somebody who loves me unconditionally, but right now I have been very blessed to have found it in my friendships.
That's really great. I love to hear that. But you did say finding unconditional love later in life. And for myself, I have the same. And what I've realized, Jeanieva, is that because I was giving conditional love earlier, I was very conditional, but I didn't know I was a conditional lover to friends, family, and partners. And now I'm closer to loving unconditionally. Like, I'm so much closer. So then with that, I'm able to invite unconditional love from others into my life. And it's uncomfortable, Jeanieva. It is for me. Like, when I'm in the ugly and I'm a fire breathing dragon, and then somebody still loves me, I'm like, wow, I'm expecting them to run and they're not running. I'm like, dang, okay, I've evolved. Because I think it's everybody else has evolved. I'm like, no, I've evolved. I've done the work. I've done the healing. I've done the processing. I've been on the journey. And then I have my own back, Jeanieva. I'm like, good job. I'm patting myself on the back. Good job, Joanna. Because when I changed, everyone else around me changed. And when I was younger, I wanted everybody else to change. And I'm like, well, I'm doing the work. I'm going to Tony Robbins. But it was very surface and it was very middle finger in the air. Screw everybody. You should all change. And so I didn't unconditionally love myself. I'm still not there yet, but I'm much closer. What do you think about that, Jeanieva? About the self unconditional love?
I think that's so important. And I think that that's where all of it comes from. When you can unconditionally love yourself, like you said, you're inviting people to unconditionally love you. And that's easier said than done. Self-love is a process. It's not something that comes easy to a lot of us. So, but I love that. I love that. And that's not to say we're not going to have like bad days or days where you're disappointed in yourself or whatever. But when you can, like, if you're your own best friend, like I was talking about best friends who are like, might not be able to hang out with you today, but I can check in on you tomorrow and I still love you no matter what. You can have that same love for your own self. Like, okay, Jeanieva, not really sure I like you today, but I still love you. And I'll check back in with you tomorrow.
Like and love are so different. And I was brainwashed to think that they were the same. And when I say brainwashed, I'm saying it like in a light way. It's just meaning like just all the points of views that I got of just, okay,
Yeah.
love and like are the same. I'm like, are they really? Yeah, that was cool. Okay. Are you there? You were kind of a little bit off with the internet. I think you're back. Happy
Am I okay?
smiles. What's up? Yeah, we're live on Twitch right now. So if you're listening to this podcast, but you also want to go to Twitch, follow me at Joanna Vargas Official. But we got happy smiles. What's up, baby girl? Okay. I do want to talk about, I learned this a couple years ago, Jeaneiva. And every time I would do vision stuff, like close your eyes and think about this or etc., I'd always see it in the front. I don't, let's say, for example, I go, close your eyes and think about money coming into your life and changing your life that way. And I always, Jeaneiva, saw it in the front of me. Do you know what I mean? And then the person leading the vision said, okay, did you see the money in front of you? Raise your hand, right? And I raised my hand. And then the person asked, did you see the money behind you? And then people raised their hand. Did you see the money above you, to the left, etc.? And I had this huge, like pivotal aha Oprah moment. Like, dang, I would have never, ever even thought that money can be behind you, to the left, underneath you. It's like in those little money cages, Jeaneiva, and the money's going everywhere and you have to catch it. That's how I see love. That's how I see friendship. Like, it's not just I have your back and I'm to the side of you. Sometimes your friends are in front of you. Sometimes they're above you because you're falling. Sometimes they're below you because whatever, you're higher and you're going to lift them up. Sometimes they're to the left, to the right. Sometimes they're behind you because you're falling. And I had this like, oh my gosh moment. And that's why sometimes when I tell you, I'm like, I got your back, I got your front, I got your left. And instead of thinking, I just got your back. So same thing with visionary work. Is it only in the front or is it only in the back? So where do you see your friends? And now I can vision them and love everywhere, like a 360. It's a sphere. And that really, really changed my point of view, my perspective. And a lot of times when I talk to groups, Jeaneiva, I'll bring that up. And I know it has validity because people's eyes open. Like, I never thought of it that way. I always thought my husband is to the side of me, right? You see on the top of the cake, husband and wife, side by side. Yeah, but sometimes he might be in front of you. And then sometimes you might be in front. And sometimes he might be diagonal. What are your thoughts on that? What comes up?
I love that. I was totally like visualizing the little like cake toppers and totally visualizing that. And I love that. I love when you said that about the money and the money in front of you. When I do visualizations like that, I would envision it coming down from above me. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I would have never thought that. Yeah.
But I love that because money or abundance, and abundance can be with friendships, with career opportunities, with love. It can come from anywhere. Love can be anywhere. It's not necessarily going to come when you go out with your girlfriends at the bar or when you like put yourself out on a dating app. It can absolutely come from anywhere, not just from the side, not just from the top, not just from the bottom. So I really love that. And it really is in alignment with some of our beliefs about like, there's no limitations on the universe. Like, we always are looking for the how, but the how doesn't matter. Like, the universe, God has ways to give you wonderful things in ways that you can't even imagine. So that's what it just made me reflect on when you were saying that. Like, yeah, money can come from everywhere. Like, friends can be anywhere. Your partner can be anywhere, and it changes sometimes. Sometimes you're the friend that's lifting someone up, and sometimes your friend is the one lifting you up, and it's kind of a great visual. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. Sometimes you're lifting your friends up and sometimes they're lifting you up. Always different. Yeah. Wait, we have a comment. I'm curious. Do you love others unconditionally based on how they love you unconditionally, or is it really unconditional? Ooh,
That's a good
okay.
one.
That's a good one. It's a little kind of a mind bomb. It's a mind F. You're like, what? I'm going to read it one more time. I'm curious. Do you love others unconditionally based on how they love you unconditionally, or is it really unconditional? Wow. Okay. I think about it this way, then I want to hear from you, Jeanieva. I think about judgment. And I know in this question for 2021 of what is love, judgment has played a big role in it. It's coming up of what I thought love was is because I judged love. This is what love should be. It should be A, B, C, D. Here's all the rules. And what's coming up for me in 2021 is like the rules are actually completely opposite. Love, like you said, is all over the place. It's so different. It's not just a hug. It's not just a kiss. It's not just a gift. So when Happy Smiles asked this, I'm like, I think we can love unconditionally to others, etc., when we judge what love is. But if there's truly no judgment about what love is, then I know in my awareness, then I can love unconditionally, regardless of how that other person loves me. Now that's a tough one. That
It
is,
a good one.
woo, that's a tough one. But I know it's when we judge what love is supposed to be, is when we love conditionally, even though we don't know we're loving conditionally. What do you think, Jeanieva?
I love that. And that's such a great question. And I'm thinking like, do I love people unconditionally based on their unconditional love for me?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, there are people that I love unconditionally, especially I have children in my world, and oh my gosh, of course I love them unconditionally. Um, and I love what you said about having judgments about love, and I think that's where the conditions come in. So, and it's a process. You can't just be like, I have no judgments about love, because it's a lot of like
Yeah.
stories that we've been brought up with, and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, such a great question. I'm going to be thinking about this one all day. But you can love someone unconditionally, but that doesn't mean that you have to, if they're being abusive, or if they're being terrible, or if they're taking advantage of your kindness, or things like that. The most important person to love unconditionally is yourself. So if you're in a situation, a relationship that's hurting you, you are under no obligation to love someone unconditionally. That's a choice. So, but you can still love someone and not put yourself in a situation where that's not loving to yourself.
Okay, Jeanieva, wait, something popped up when you were talking because you said something really great. You said, okay, if somebody's being abusive to you, we don't have to love them unconditionally, right? Or love them back, right? Okay, cool. Because loving somebody unconditionally or loving them either way does not mean that you're a doormat. That's also come up to me in this year, because in the past, Jeanieva, I thought if I love somebody or if they loved me, I should take their crap and I could be a doormat, because that's what love is taking it. And I'm like, that doesn't ring true anymore. What if love is actually telling you, Jeanieva, this is not okay that you did this to me. In the future, this is what I would like. So what I'm saying is, it's a little bit of a mind bomb right now, and my mind's going. But you said something about loving them unconditionally. What if, Jeanieva, love is setting somebody free and loving them unconditionally, but they're totally out of your life? Mm-hmm. Or is it that we think that love means that they have to be in our lives? Okay, because let's talk about forgiveness. We've heard 10 million things about forgive, and then the dis-ease will leave your body, because when we have resentment, it lives in our body, and until we forgive. And then people will say, well, I don't want to forgive that person because they literally hurt me. They abused me. Now, we're not saying that it's okay with what they did. We're not saying that. But forgiving them, you can love them and then leave, you jerk, you a-hole. And so I wonder, Jeanieva, and this is like a curiosity question. Can we think and know somebody's an a-hole, a jerk, an abuser, and love them? I wonder, because that's like Jesus. And still saying, that's not okay with me. Don't you ever come around me ever again. It's still having that energy of, that's not okay, leave. I have a few people in my life of that nature. I love, yet I do not like.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a mind, but I know, like, did I lose anybody on that one? How you doing, Jeanieva, on that one? What are your thoughts?
I'm doing okay. Yes, you can still love someone who was abusive to you or who you don't want to be a part of your life. But I think it's important to know you do not have to. You don't have to.
I like that. You have choice. It's choice. It's not like if you're a good person, you're still going to love them. It's a choice. Okay, that's what I got from what you just said, Jeanieva. That's what I got. Yes, you have a choice. It's not like you have to, because here's the rules again with love. Or they so-and-so's telling me I should not love them because they abused me. Ooh, that's good. Well, okay, we have one more comment over here. I think sometimes our human nature prevents us from loving unconditionally or from feeling that we're being taken advantage of. Yeah, and when you say human nature, that's from Happy Smiles. I'm getting like in this reality, it's what was created. It's what we're taught. It's what is like in all the fairy tales and all the books and et cetera, and all the songs and all the music. So I think that's what she says when she means human nature. Yeah, that prevents us from loving unconditionally. I mean, let's just take a song, Jeanieva. Let's put on any love song on Spotify, and it's going to say, I love you because you did this for me and et cetera. And yeah, it's a song. I get it. And are we taking all this stuff on and it's making it harder in the long run? I'm such in curiosity of what love is. And I've been gifted the ability this year to get to see it all opposite.
Mm-hmm.
What about for you on that? Like on love and in this reality and human nature of what we think unconditional love is?
What are my thoughts on that? I don't know. I don't know what my thoughts are right in this moment. I think I'm just processing so much of what we're talking about right now that I'm just like, I don't know. Can you ask the question again?
I don't even know what I asked. Well, Jeanieva, you know what? I love when my mind goes blank because for me, it means that like I'm starting over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like I'm building a house and there was the old house and I knocked down the house. And then, so you're asking like, what do you think? And you're like, I don't know. The house is gone. I have nothing right now. I'm kind of like, yeah, right.
That's what I felt too. Like,
yeah. So I actually like when my mind goes blank because it means that I'm actually moving forward. I'm not taking the junk, the crap behind me with me. So when we're like, I don't know, even if I'm with a client or I'm with anybody and they're like, I don't know, I can't even think right now, Joanna. I'm like, awesome. Yay. The house is gone because now we get to build from the beginning up. And
I love that.
Because then sometimes we'll talk about something, Jeanieva, and we'll just, we'll beat it like a dead horse. And it's like, well, what if it's gone and there's no more horse to beat? We're done. I don't want to talk about horses and beating. That's not the best.
No.
The best description.
We love animals.
We love animals. I love horses. Thank you, Happy Smiles. Appreciate it. That was some good comments. Anything before we wrap this up, Jeanieva, about love and about having someone's back?
Yeah. I think, on the topic of unconditional love, that's, we are human. It is human nature. And sometimes it gets, we'll feel like But that's, we're supposed to love people unconditionally, and we can get hard on ourselves for not loving people unconditionally. And that's okay, because we are human. The most important person to love unconditionally is yourself. And if that means that you can't love someone else unconditionally, that's okay, because the most important person to love unconditionally is yourself. Bottom line, and everything else will fall into place as it should.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And maybe next time we'll talk. I do want to talk about girlfriends and women and tribes and how we can, like, seriously lift each other up more than just a meme on Instagram. So we'd love to
Yes.
hear more questions on that. Like, what is it really? I'm really getting curious about that, Jeanieva. What is it really for women to have each other's backs? I don't know yet. I'm still in, like, show me God, because I wonder what it looks like, because every day I'm getting new information on what it is to have your girl's back. Like, ooh, this is new. I never really had a girl's back in my 20s and my 30s, last week. Now it's like, it's so different for me. I do want to talk about that next time. So that's a little preface, a little trailer for our next one, because you look really excited to jump on that.
Yes, I love my friends. I love friendships. I believe that I'm a good friend. So that really excites me. I'm a girl's girl for sure. And I would just like to say that, you mentioning that you're not used to having, or you didn't know what having another woman's back was in your 20s and 30s. I think you do a beautiful job of having my back. So I love you, and I appreciate you for that.
That means a lot to me. Oh, thank you.
And I think too, like, when I think about having my friends back, I think about what I need. What would Jeanieva need during a time like this? And everybody's different, so my needs may be different from Stephanie Bailey's needs, or, but like at the core, like, I'll move from there. Okay, what would I need? And then, you can feel into what your friend needs. You can ask her, how can I support you? And but I start with me. And I think everything starts with you. Everything starts with self-love. Everything starts with having your own back. So
that is some great, like, words of wisdom. Start with you first. And then, but you said check in with you. What would I need? And then the feather touches will come of what the other person, what is required for them. Yeah. Like, what would I need right now? Oh, you know what? I would need a hug. Okay. What would I need? I just need somebody to just listen to me or give me a hug. Oh, Happy Smile says, I love that, Jeanieva.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Happy Smiles.
Yeah. That was a really great share. Yeah, I do. So next time we will talk about women and what is it really to lift each other up. So I want everybody to kind of chew on that until the next time you see us in September 2021, if you're listening to this in real time, and chew on that and see what you come up with you and your girlfriends. And that meant a lot for me, Jeanieva, for you to say that, because I've put in the processes, I've put in the healing of me and other women so that I can create different relationships that I had in the past. It was very selfish. I was very selfish in the past, so I'm excited to talk about that. I love you. Thank you.
I love you too. Thank you.
Everybody follow Jeanieva on Instagram at Jeanieva Faith Official, and she'll be back again soon. And that's it. Thank you for everybody listening or watching. And if you want different in your life, choose different. Let's get back up, girls. Have each other's back. Have your guys' back. Have everybody's back. Have their back. And we'll see you next time. Love you.